Good morning, everyone. This is Deborah with Wilco Wellness, and I am so glad that you guys are joining us today for our podcast. We did a poll last month, and one of the main topics on everybody's mind seems to be open enrollment, health insurance. I know when I got my paperwork from my HR person, I took a look at it and I was completely confused. So I'm kind of thinking everybody else out there watching us today probably has some questions, probably is going through the same confusion and wondering, who do we talk to besides our HR person to find out, are we missing something? Our copays are expensive, insurance is expensive, and we really want to get the best for ourselves and our family. So this brought me around to remembering a friend of mine, Sarah Bolton. She is with US Health and an amazing, extraordinary person as far as having knowledge about health insurance. So I'd like to introduce Sarah Bolton to everyone today and say thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I am getting busy. You're right. Everybody is already calling about those HR questions and open enrollment. So it's a good time.
It's a good time. It's a good time. And I would like everybody to know that there are health insurance advisors. There are people out there that they know the information. There's things they think about that we wouldn't even begin to think about. And so you have been a health advisor for how many years?
I'm going on almost 3 years. I actually had a retail background. I was in the retail cosmetics industry for, almost 20 years and didn't know anything about health insurance other than to take my insurance card to my doctor, pay my copay, and then I might get a bill later. And I wanted to do something, self-employed so that I could be home with my daughter a little bit more often, be home for my family because, retail's crazy. And I was gone on the weekends and then I traveled quite a bit because I had a big territory. So a friend of mine actually had been in this health insurance industry and I talked to her about it. And she also had been in cosmetics as well. So I took the leap of faith and got into it. And it's been fascinating, Deborah, to just learn so much about how insurance works, the medical field in itself and how the doctors versus the health insurance and all the things. And so I've really, with an education background for my retail, I used to be a trainer. So, really kind of diving into all the nooks and crannies of how they process billing, or why do I have to have a certain type of policy and what all these letters and acronyms stand for. I really loved that piece of my job. My new career is being able to explain all of that to my clients, because you're right, it is very confusing.
It is. There's a lot of information. And I work in an outpatient clinic in physical therapy. And I have to say that health insurance is one of those things I'm like, you got to talk to your insurance person. You need to talk to the people that are doing the billing. I just can't answer those questions because everyone is different. Every insurance company is different. So when you and I started to review maybe what's something that would be important or some topics that we could cover, we chose 3 types of individuals, I guess you'd say, as far as people who will be getting insurance. You told me single parents and children it's kind of its own little nook of the health insurance. Income levels, what parents make can affect the insurance. If they're divorced parents versus just single parents, custodial, how they manage their taxes at the end of the year. Can you give us 2 or 3 little things that a single parent with a child really needs to consider when they're thinking about their health insurance?
Absolutely. So one thing I want to mention too is if you are employed and your employer offers health insurance and you go through that employer, it's completely different than this scenario that we're going to talk about, right? So the scenario that we're going to talk about, Deborah, is like a single parent that maybe is self-employed, a hairdresser, or a nail tech, or a nurse practitioner that is a traveling nurse, that kind of thing. I've come across a couple of those recently. So if you've got health insurance through your employer, your HR person should normally help you with that. a lot of times they'll kind of do, a big presentation for everybody and just walk you through the plans. I don't mind actually helping you break those plans down a little bit as well. I really love educating my clients on that piece. But if you are self-employed and you're looking at insurance individually and you've got kids, you've got to think about, maybe in that divorce decree, the non-custodial parent is supposed to hold on to the insurance for the kids. Well, if that person is also self-employed and you've got to go through like the ACA marketplace, they're going to look at whoever claims the kids on the taxes as to whether or not you're able to put that child on your plan. So, that might even take you, and I'm not a lawyer by any means, so that might take you to a whole nother level of having to make sure that it's in the decree that, the custodial parent that claims them on taxes is taking care of the health insurance, but the non-custodial parent then reimburses through child support or however that works. So it is a little difficult when you start looking at those aspects. And also on the marketplace as well, your income level is taken into account to possibly get you savings. It's called a tax subsidy. And so depending on, your age, how many kids you have in the family, and what your income level is, they may give you a tax break that you're able to take monthly, making your monthly premium more affordable for you. And then, at the end of the year, they work all that out in taxes. So, if you're a single mom and you've got 2 or 3 kids at home and you're only making, $45,000, $50,000 a year, you'll get a substantial break on the marketplace to be able to afford those premiums. If it's a lower amount, you might even be able to put the kids on Medicaid or CHIP, which are going to be those state-sponsored health coverage options. I can help you kind of walk through that and know on the marketplace, they'll break it down for you, even say maybe the kids are qualifying for CHIP, and then I can help to guide them to the right state agency.
As you mentioned, like with single moms, there's also entrepreneurs out there who maybe don't have any children. Mm-hmm. You say ACA, that's the same as Obamacare?
Yeah, so the ACA is the Affordable Care Act that President Obama passed, when was that? About 12, 13, maybe 14 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so it was, commonly referred to as Obamacare. It's really the marketplace. You can find it on healthcare.gov. Health Sherpa is another avenue that you can find those plans. Those are your government sponsored, state sponsored. Every state has their own insurance rules and laws. So those plans go through what we call a marketplace. And so, we've been through a couple of presidents now, and I think every time there's a new president, they try to do something different with it. And then that president, gets the title of their care. And now I guess Biden care would be, kind of what people are saying, because he did pass a couple of laws at the beginning of the year to give more subsidies to higher income levels. And he did some special enrollment periods. And this upcoming open enrollment, normally it's November 1st through December 15th. President Biden has extended it through January 15th of this year. So when you hear me say marketplace or ACA, that's the things that I'm referring to. But back to your question about the entrepreneurs, self-employed folks. So that's really, that would be one of the first stops that most people think of for health insurance for somebody that's self-employed. There are other options out there for self-employed folks, and that's why I love educating my clients on that. But the marketplace plans, those cover everything. Those, whether you need it or not. You can be a 50-year-old man, and there's maternity coverage available for you on your marketplace plan. So those are, those ACA laws made sure that it's minimal essential coverage. So it covers your well visits, it covers maternity, mental health, and all of that. Some people don't need that. So I have some other options that are private insurance options, and they are very customizable to your needs. So you can pick and choose what you need, how much care you need, maybe lower on the doctor end side, and then you want to make sure you've got a deductible available for catastrophic. So that's the kind of things I like to explain to my clients. And then we just really talk about what's going to be best for them and their family or their small business.
Right. So customizable, the ones that you say are customizable private insurance, is that more like United Healthcare,
United Healthcare,
the bigger companies?
Not necessarily. There are kind of niche markets there. United Healthcare does have, we use their network for some of those plans. That's really one of those where I would have to kind of talk to the client about it and give them more specifics on it. I can't really give a lot of specifics on the plans themselves, but you can pick how much basic doctor's care that you want, how many visits that you want, or you can pick your deductible and your co-insurance and mix and match. Maybe you want a super low premium and you're okay with a high deductible because you're super healthy, you take care of yourself, and it really truly is just the what ifs that you're worried about. So we can really tailor it down depending on your needs.
The advisor is going to know what questions to ask.
Exactly.
And the person needs to be ready to answer those questions to get exactly, because I didn't know any of this. I just thought I had two choices, the government or whoever my employer provided, and that was pretty much it. So
exactly.
Our last group then is our over 50. We have people that are very healthy. Like you said, they may have had a heart attack and now they're taking care of themselves. They've changed their lifestyles. So you have that over 50 healthy golfers, whatever. And then you have the over 50 that have all the predisposing, the diabetes, the health things in their background that may come from their family. What is something that folks like that really need to take into consideration? Our older generation, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a lot of the almost retired, but not quite to Medicare age. A lot of people are retiring earlier these days. And so, they may not be covered. So if you are on a, company sponsored plan and you're getting ready to retire, you can take your COBRA option, and COBRA is that extension of your employer's health care that you can take for up to 18 months. If you have had a lot of pre-existing conditions or you're in the middle of treatment for something, it's going to be more expensive. Let's just say that. I mean, bottom line, whatever comes out of your paycheck from your employer, I would say guarantee to pay at least 3 times that amount, because you're now going to be covering the entire premium. But honestly, if you need that much care, you need to stay on your plan, because there's nothing worse than having to find new doctors, explain situations and all of that again. So I always suggest to those clients, if they're really close or on the cusp of being ready to hit Medicare, just go ahead and stay on your COBRA. And then once that COBRA runs out, if you still have a little bit of a gap, we can help you find something. But if you've been self-employed and you're hitting that over 50 mark, the market, and you have, again, pre-existing conditions, the marketplace does have some really great plans. And like I said, Biden put in some subsidies for higher income levels now. So you may still get a subsidy, even if you're, a couple 50, 55 years old and you're making over $200,000 a year, you might still get some sort of tax credit and subsidy. So I can help them work through that. But really and truly, if you're healthy, you're out playing golf, you've had no pre-existing conditions, you've been taking care of yourself, you're healthy financially, and you're healthy, physically, then we can definitely look at some of those private options.
Excellent. Thank you. And then you have your over 70. Those would be Medicare?
Yes.
For the most part?
Yeah. Once you turn 65, your Medicare that you've been paying into your whole life, whole working life, will kick in. I have some really great contacts in the Medicare space. I don't do anything over 65 personally, but I've got a couple of really great referral sources. One of which just took care of my mother-in-law for me. So I trusted him enough to be able to send her. But Medicare is really confusing also because there's lots of different parts, all the alphabet, part A, part B, D, C, all of those, they take care of different things. And so I always refer somebody to, a Medicare specialist to make sure that they're getting what they need. Another thing in that age bracket, once maybe you've got a couple and somebody's hitting Medicare age, but the other one is still under 65, then, I am able to split them up and help them as well. Keep that younger person on the private plan while we help that 65-year-old get onto the Medicare age. So, not all families are on the same insurance plan anymore these days, especially when you're looking at your bottom line and how much money you're spending every month. I love being able to help clients do that. I've got several clients who are on an employer-sponsored plan, and the employer helps to pay for their, subs or their premium every month, but the spouse and the dependents come out of that person's check at 100% premium. So I
Right.
have several clients where I'll take the spouse and dependents and put them on a private plan, and we keep the employee on that employer plan since they're helping to cover some of that premium. So again, going back to having an agent and an advisor work with you is just paramount. And being able to understand what your options are.
That is good to know that you can refer out to, say, like somebody like me. I could come to you and go, hey, my mother-in-law is coming to be with us, and we're
Mhm.
looking at changing insurance. She's not going to be in Michigan. She's going to be in Texas. And what are the new rules? What are the things that we need to know? So
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
you are a crazy wealth of information.
I know it's kind of a sickness. When I find something that's fascinating to not only me, but the better part of the
Mm,
public, like people need to know these things. And another thing about private insurance and having an advisor like me on your side is, insurance is a tool in the private space for sure. You have to know how to use it, where to get the best bang for
mhm.
your insurance dollars, how to keep the most money in your pocket in the event of a catastrophic situation. And your 800 number on the back of your insurance card is not going to do that for you. So really, if it's something that you've got questions on, or if I'm able to help any of my clients, and I even help their friends, just take a phone call. And I don't mind doing that at all, just again because it's a service, and I truly love to serve and help other people understand it so that they don't get caught up in the weeds.
Right, right. Well, thank you. HR, a lot of times too, if they've got, companies of 800, over 1,000 people, they're only going to know so much about insurance, and they're going to end up
Exactly.
saying, here's the paperwork, call somebody. And you would be
Mhm.
that type of person to call. So, well, wow, thank you so very much for sharing this information with us. Wilco Wellness is here to help people make better choices for their lives. And I love finding people like yourselves that do exactly that. And so I'm so thankful for knowing you and for the service that you do. Um, the places where folks can find you, you are
Ah,
with
yes.
Better Coverage with Bolton.
Yeah. So I'm self-employed also. So and I don't like to tie myself to any one company as far as my name recognition or my title is concerned, because I do help in other ways. So Better Coverage with Bolton is my business, and I have a Facebook page. You can find me at Sarah at bettercoveragewithbolton.com if you wanted to email me, or you can find me at Better Coverage with Bolton on Facebook, and shoot me a private message that way to connect.
Perfect. We're going to put that information inside of the blog, and also have that at the bottom of this YouTube video so that people can get that information and reach out to you. And I'm sure if you
Awesome.
get overwhelmed and you're super busy, you have other people that you can refer
I
to
do,
answer
absolutely. And
questions.
one thing I wanted to mention too, Deborah, I don't mind working after hours. I know a lot of people work during the day. So if you needed me to touch base after hours, I have a little one at home. She's self-sufficient that and when husband gets home, I say, here, take care of her. Mom's got some calls to make. I mean, I've talked to people at 9 o'clock at night before, because that's just what worked best for their schedule. So I don't mind doing that at all. The weekends, Sundays, I kind of like to keep to myself, but even if it's on a Saturday and that's the only time my clients have, I absolutely don't mind fitting that into the schedule. So I'm available. I mean, I've had people text me at 9 o'clock saying, where's the best ER in network? Because I've got to take my kid for stitches. So
Oh,
I'm probably a little too available sometimes. To my own detriment, but again, that's just my servant's heart, wanting to make sure that people are taken care of. And I am licensed in 24 states. So Texas obviously is my home, as you can see here, but I can help people across the country too. So if you've got somebody that or like you said, you've got a family in another state,
mhm.
I may be able to help them out as well.
Well, thank you. And I want to thank everybody for joining Local Wellness. Hopefully, we've helped you with your insurance questions. We've at least opened the door to advisors. They're important for you to meet, to know, probably more important than your doctor in some aspects. So thank you very much. And we'll be seeing you again.